Hello everybody, today I've got a pair of Allen Edmonds. These are a pair of Burtons, and as you can see here, they are just a, kind of a plain toe. I'm not sure if it's a plain toe or moccasin toe, but anyway, it's a Derby. And their thrift store score here, they're a little bit smushed, a little bit scuffed, but I think these things are going to come out looking almost brand new. So let's just go ahead and clean and polish these things up, okay? All right, let's go. Hello everybody, it's Robert Powers. 4.5 out of 5. My shoe collection. Some stains there. Got a nice lather. Here is the finished product. I'm not a professional. How tight this is though. You can see it very clearly here. I just cut the thread. So here it goes. Now that's a proper mirror shine. They're both done. Doesn't it look awesome? So first of all, why would these be an ideal shoe to pick up? This is what I found. Dealing with cars, dealing with shoes, even houses, I've always had a decent eye for knowing what is going to, be of some value. And when I say value, I don't necessarily mean monetary value, okay? But, some aesthetic value when it's done, because I have a very good sense of visualization to visualize the end result. Because when you see this, I think it quite frankly looks like crap. But why does it look like crap? Are the things that look bad about it fixable? Well, you can see the toe should be the shiniest part, and it's the worst part. But if you see this scuffing here, I'll try to adjust the light a little bit too much light there. The scuffing is really pretty much just, surface. It doesn't scratch into it. The first place most shoes will crack is right here across the vamp. The side of the vamp, I should say, where the foot flexes the ball of the foot. These are obviously a pretty good brand of shoe, my favorite brand of shoe. These are a pair of Allen Edmonds, and the shoe model is called the Burton, okay? And I can tell by that logo there that these were probably made in the 90s to 2000s. And this is kind of neat. I don't see this very often here where it does have the original Allen Edmonds sole, and it looks like this is a first quality shoe. It's not a it's not resold, it's not a factory second or anything. The heels are still in really good shape, and it's got this pieces of inset rubber here for traction, and very mild wear. So this is an ideal shoe to kind of clean up. And these are, I believe, a size 12. Size 12D. D would be a standard width, right? You see the other one here, a little bit of scuffing on the toe, nothing major at all, but just them being smushed, detracts from their value. So just even one basic thing. Watch this. And here's my favorite brand of shoe tree, Olaroo. And no, I'm not endorsed by them, but the reason I love these is because just for the price, for $22 shipped, I believe. I'll get them off of eBay or Amazon. For the eBay seller is Olaroo themselves. But look at the features. This is more than likely what you'd usually get for maybe about 30 bucks, sometimes 20 bucks. But you see the vamp, okay? It's got more of a full vamp. It's hard to tell because when I put it in front the perspective, but I'll put them side by side. That's a better way to do it. Okay, I'm gonna line up the tops. Do you see? It just goes back further, this area here. And then another thing about it is the heel. You see how the heel is the full round width of the heel? And then another feature here, that brass knob, believe it or not, that brass knob makes it a lot easier to get them in and out. And they don't just spring, but they also pivot up, right? So these things are just absolutely fabulous. But even if you just take your shoe, and these do have to be sized correctly, okay? If you look at these, for example, it should usually say on there, these Olaroo shoe trees that I get from my shoes, it's hard to tell right there, but it says, I think it says 12-13. So they're size 12, 13. They have a chart, to get the right size. Okay. And wiggling my table. So now look at that, just by inserting a shoe tree. And if you just leave them like this, even without moistening the shoe, without doing anything, if you just leave them like this for, a couple, 3 days, the shoes will, come back to kind of that original shape. What you're really looking for is that they're not crushed here in the toe cap area. There's a reinforcement in here called a toe puff. And, a heel, also a heel, I'm not sure what it's called. Is it a counter lining in the heel area? And you want to make sure those areas are not crushed. If it's just, smushed down here in the middle of the shoe where there's no reinforcement, that's not going to hurt the shoe at all. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is take the laces out and saddle soap. I'm actually going to change my strategy a little bit. This part of the shoes here, the eye stays, were kind of curled up So I'm just gonna, I tighten them up real tight. You know, you can see obviously it tightens up against the shoe tree. I'm gonna leave these things tied and just keep the laces out of the way, because what I'm hoping this will do, especially when I moisten the leather, that's gonna, you know, kind of form the leather back into the way it's supposed to be. And I just did kind of notice something here. I don't think it's serious. Looks like a water stain right here on this shoe. And I don't think it's serious. I think it's just a water stain, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I think first thing I'm going to do maybe is take the Sapphire Renomat, and this is the basically solvent that you know, strips everything off of that's on top of leather like wax, a cleaner, and I'm going to hit that area with this stuff first. Okay. Yep, nothing's coming off in the rag. Next, Kiwi saddle soap. You know, I've done a video just on saddle soap, what it is, what's in it, and what it does. Just take the lid and you go, you know, fill it with hot water, basically. And I know Sapphire makes a saddle soap. There's a lot of different people that make one, but, you know. Here now I've got hot water in the lid. And fill it with hot water, then dump it out, and do that a couple times so that the lid warms up. Otherwise, the lid will cool off the water. I believe in, you know, kind of like the 80-20 rule. I think you're going to get the majority of the benefit by using saddle soap versus which saddle soap you get. I'm more finicky about my polish than I am things like saddle soap. That's just my personal preference. Okay. Generally speaking, just to keep some kind of order, I like to start with the left shoe. I have a little brush like this just to get the extra soap out of some of the cracks, crevices in the weld. See like in there. It does darken it because of the moisture being absorbed, but that's not going to be permanent. Now, I've done another video on 12 reasons to polish your shoes. And in that video, one of the reasons I state is because when you polish your shoes, you're kind of doing an inspection on them. And there's that water spot. It is a little bit noticeable, right? I think that's what it was, is a water damage spot. And here, I think both of them got a little bit worse because of the moisture, you know, that I've introduced. So I have to see what I can do about that. A little bit of damage there. And that there. Now I'm going to go through a round of moisturizing, and I've got this from Ashland Leather, and this is made by some people that actually work at Horween Leather Company, and this is actually the same kind of leather cleaner conditioner they actually use when they manufacture Horween Leather, which is America's premier leather tannery. It's mainly lanolin in this. Lanolin comes from sheep. So I'm going to give them a round of moisturization with this, and I'm especially going to see if the spot on that right shoe, this will help. Let me start with the right shoe in this case because of that. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and start polishing it here with a sapphire. This is a sapphire Medal Dior, and this is the cream polish. And we're just going to see how how this goes. I'm just going to. I'm not sure about this area. I can feel there. I'm going to run my hand across it. I don't know if you can tell on camera. There is a little bit of a bump there, and I'm really debating on what to do with that. I want to avoid sanding that down if at all possible. I could always resort to that, but for now I'm not going to do that. Get the lighting a little better here. Outside of that, those two spots on this right shoe, the leather is in excellent condition. Pressing really hard over that bumpy area. I've actually found that can help. If you just basically like you're almost massaging the bumpy part of that leather. Believe it or not, that does help. Because there's a shoe tree backing it, so I can press pretty hard. Set up. Okay, this first shoe, the right shoe, has had a few minutes, 3-4 minutes or something like that to set up. I got my horsehair brush. Good horsehair brush. Love this part. Isn't that awesome? Look at that, huh? You definitely can still see that spot. I'll keep working on it though. Now I brought these shoes up here to my dining room where I've got some natural light. Got the tape X on the screen door there because my dog, our Vizsla, runs right through the screen at full sprint and busts through it. But right now I've got the camera at waist level, okay? So this is actually closer than your eyes would be to anybody's shoes when you're wearing them because they're up on a step, you know? And yeah, the spot, like I said, if you zoom in, yeah, it does kind of tick me off, but I don't think it's worth going in and trying to like sand down that leather or do any of those kind of things that are invasive to the leather. So like I said, this would be about how far away you are, you know, in real life to viewing the shoes. So I don't think I'm going to bother going in and tackling that, especially this inner spot. It is on the inside of the instep. You know, you almost have to be under it to see it. You know, so just make sure that if someone, you know, gets these shoes, I disclose it. But all that is just really saddle soap, moisturizing, and one layer of polish. But I'm going to keep going. Next, I'm going to use the Sapphire Pate Deluxe. So this here in particular, I'm going to use as a neutral. doesn't have a pigment on it. This is different. I'm not yet going to the mirror gloss. This is the harder one that you use just for making a mirror shine. This is just like a regular neutral paste wax, okay? I'm going to let that set up while I do the other shoe. Okay, it's had a few minutes to set up. And here they are, side by side. Not too shabby, huh? Still got to do the heels. I'm going to keep going with the spit shine. Now, I like to experiment, so this is the neutral, okay? Mirror gloss. This is a harder wax made specially just for doing a spit shine, aka mirror shine, aka glaçage. And I think glaçage is a French word. That means icing, I think is really what it means. But I'm going to use the black. I want to see if I can just put a little tint of darkening, and I think that may also help hide that a little bit, okay? So. Got some cold water. Wax has had a little bit of time to set up. Just taking a drop on the finger, put a drop on there and rub fairly lightly. Speed much more than pressure. So you can barely see any color change. The black doesn't turn it black. Other shoe. This is the right shoe. Left shoe. Black sole edges get really bad. You can, pick this up at your, local Walmart or whatever to dye them. How's that look? Can you see the flaw still? Barely. And again here, you gotta actually turn the shoe up in the light to see that, So I'm gonna leave well enough alone there. Let's take a little bit of the tan polish here, okay? Now, in my books, the sole of a shoe is akin to the odometer of a car. So I'm going to make it look better, but I'm not going to do artificial things. In other words, there's a guy on eBay that I've seen that takes all the shoes before he resells them, and he sands the whole sole front to back. He does it lightly enough where it doesn't remove the Allen Edmonds logo, but in my books that's deceptive. So I might do a little bit right here because you can still see the tan color. The original tan color there, so in my books that's okay, just a little spot there, So then, I've already done the other one. It's had a couple minutes to set up. Look at that, huh? Is that pretty nice? Cleans it up a little bit. There we go, huh? The evening sun here. Don't they look pretty nice? You can still see that spot, but you know what? I'm okay with it. I'll cut in a video here of the before. Oh, by the way, watch this. Actually, this is difficult to do one-handed. But even just having shoe trees in them for, what, about a couple, 3 hours? Look how nice that shoe looks. Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. feel free to subscribe and check out my other videos. I've got about 80 other videos previous to this on a lot of different various things, mostly shoe fashion centered. All right, God bless you guys. Have an awesome day. Thanks.